Happy birthday, Config Man. It's 25 years.
I first came across it in the late 90s and thought, never heard of this. What is it and what does it do?
So I have a confession to make. I basically started my first years in my career designing, implementing and troubleshooting Altiris products.
I used to write software under the defense contractor and had to deploy it to about 2,000 machines. This was back in the 90s. And I started eating the donuts of the other team that was actually managing SCCM or SMS at the time. And I said, I need help getting this stuff out to the machines. And he said, well, you're in luck. We have this new product. He sat me down. This guy's name was Brett. Taught me enough about it to where I got hooked on it. I've been using it ever since.
I started off in IT by delivering computers, and for some reason my manager thought that I could do more than that.
The first time I installed Config Manager, I did it on a HP G3.
Literally, I was sitting in my office for 6 straight weeks at one point doing nothing because automation had taken a toll of everything. I started teaching myself how to image machines, and I got my first position as an SCCM admin using the old version.
My first job using Config Manager has actually been about 6 months.
I started with another project when I did my first IT experience, and then I more or less moved to the bright side of the power, where I started with Config Manager.
I was working help desk at a company in Atlanta, and I never forget, one day Terry was in his cube, and he called me over. He's like, Troy, you want to see something pretty cool? I'm like, yeah. He's like, go in the training room and look at that front row of PCs. All of a sudden, on one of them, Notepad opens up, and he types my name across Notepad. And that was the first time I saw remote control. It just blew me away. I mean, right there, I fell in love with the product.
I inherited a fledgling SMS 1.2 environment in 1998, and I've supported it ever since.
So we were using Altiris Deployment Solution, realized we were paying for Altiris, but we already owned Configuration Manager. Why pay for it when you have something?
Previously, we were using a bunch of different tools, and our first task were getting rid of AirWatch and our antivirus software. We'd stopped paying the license fee, so we were under a time crunch. And the primary SCCM guy, I got a notification that he had accepted a job with Microsoft, and I said, oh, well, I guess I'm the primary SCCM guy now.
I started with SMS 2.0, SP2 at the time. Back then, it was like the dark ages. In IT, it's like dog years.
So I decided to get on board and started to learn the beast, and thus began my journey with a product I've come to love and hate sometimes, and I've never looked back.
I started using SCCM in 2003 with SMS03. It was a great product. I sat there and I rolled it out to the facility where I worked. We only had 200 computers, but what it meant was we didn't have to walk across the whole campus to be able to manage all of these computers.
I took it from weeks of getting that software out to the machines to a couple of hours. That sold me on it.
I used Config Manager for as long as I can remember, and I can't remember life without it because besides that, it'll be USB, walking around, sneaker netting, and that's so old school. What are we, 1990s?
So I started off by creating packages, application packages, and putting them into Config Manager without really knowing what I was doing.
It used to just be one thing that I did. Now it's the sole focus of what I do.
It's that tool where I've written my final exam on it, and currently I make consulting with Config Managers.
There's not much that you can't try and manage and reach out and touch with ConfigMan. It forces you to think in an engineering mindset and to plan something all the way from start to finish.
It has made life so much easier to maintain a consistent system.
This company, they were going through a full office automation. They were there literally taking typewriters off of their desk and putting HP or compact PCs on their desk. And I wrote this amazing batch file that deployed Windows for Workgroups to every one of those machines. You could do that back in 94, 95 using SMS. But the concept of OSD, it wasn't even a concept back then, but you could still do it. When I realized I didn't have to be everywhere at one time, I just fell in love with the product. You could do a lot of good in a quick amount of time, and you could do a lot of bad. I was on both sides of that.
I never have done something wrong with SCCM.
I installed Config Manager clients on the wrong company. So like 1,500 clients got migrated. It went great.
My favorite thing is error code 53, nondescript network error has occurred. You know, thank you for that illuminating error code. I really appreciate it.
Deployed Office by accident one day, meant to push it to like 10 machines and deployed it to about 500 in the middle of the day during the school year. So, you know, everybody got it early. We were ahead of schedule.
Well, there's the dreaded accidentally re-imaged all the machines in the environment scenario. That happened at I can't name the place, city government accidentally advertised the Windows 7 image at the time to the all systems collection. It imaged about 10 servers, and the 11th server it hit was the SCCM server, because it had a client on it, which was bad. It took itself out. That wasn't me, by the way.
I've had some fun experiences where I've accidentally deleted the GINA of every computer in Windows XP in a fleet. That was a really scary experience. You find out by going to the CEO's computer and go, hang on, this file's missing. What's going to happen? That's not an experience I ever want to have again.
I get up on stage only to find that I'm in front of about 1,000 plus people. I open my presentation by stating right up front, I'm not a SQL guy, know nothing about it, but I've been able to learn enough to cobble together some queries and stuff. So, no questions on SQL, but here's what I did. Got through it without any major faux pas. The lights came up, and wow, there were 2 big aisles down through the conference room with 4 microphones in place with probably 8 or 10 people in line at each microphone. And right off the bat, I begin to get a bad feeling. Because there's the quintessential, stereotypical SQL Server geek, and he stands there and proceeds to ask me this really long, convoluted question about the nuances of SQL. So when you were doing this presentation and you said this and that, why was it that you did this function and did this kind of thing over here instead of doing that? And just that quick. My heart in my throat, I simply blurt out, sir, I have no idea. And the place erupts, because there I am on my first question in my first presentation in front of over 1,000 people, and I come within a heartbeat of dropping a good old fancy Navy issue F-bomb.
2007 SCCM for the SP1 was the implementation for OS deployment. And then we started to implement that, and it was a little bit a crappy thing. We automated the dynamic collection, but that was a little bit a pain. But it was fun weekend after that.
Actually, a colleague of mine just uninstalled Java on an entire customer during their peak hours. And then I realized how powerful it was.
And let's just say that this particular rollout of Java was not very well planned. Bad things happen to good people.
We had to roll out XP Service Pack 3, and we were assured by the application teams that all of the applications were working just fine. Turns out that they were entirely wrong, and 2 of the major engineering applications that were used by the state at that time did not work with Service Pack 3. Monday morning was, you know, a nightmare.
Configuration Manager otherwise is the product I basically play with, work with, troubleshoot, hate, love every day. I haven't stopped using it every day in my life so far, so I won't now either.
So you learn by mistakes, and you can do quite big mistakes and quite powerful things to fix them.
You have probably one of the most powerful tools in the company, and you have to be very serious and very careful about how you use it.
We were hit by a wonderful virus, you all remember it from 2003, that was causing all of our machines to reboot. We were able to use SMS 2003, because we were one of the pilot groups from Microsoft to implement it, to not only remediate the patch, but change the registry key to prevent us from rebooting, and then go forward. But what was amazing is we did it all between a Friday afternoon and a Monday morning. So we were able to walk in Monday morning to our executives and say that we are done, we are safe. Now, as we all know, Configuration Manager will install software based on the time zone. As we did it, we were able to watch the stock change on the stock exchange as it was ongoing. If only we had known that, because we were young and interns, we could have bet against the market. It's not insider trading if you're causing it.
It's great. I mean, they give you enough rope to hang yourself. You rarely can blame it. You usually end up blaming yourself for just not doing it right.
I was the person who raised my hand and said, yeah, I'll take a shot at it.
That led to a 10-year-long career in consulting doing SCCM for companies. It's been awesome for my career.
It's nice to stick with one product and see it grow and it work.
My aha moment with Configuration Manager was when I can deploy an operating system within 30 minutes. Not just the operating system, but also applications required for the department. You cannot do that manually, and you cannot do that with any other tool.
I've lived through the pain of the service packs and that. It's helped me become a much better troubleshooter for sure.
It's just been a great experience with the product, especially now. It's so easy to use. It's erased most of the memories of the rough times with SMS.
You know, right out of college in the 90s, I got a job working at a help desk, and school didn't prepare me for life, and a lot of things I had to learn on my own. And I got to a place with my skill set where I had a chance to use Config Manager, and it really opened doors for me.
It is one of these products that allows you to do anything.
Honestly, ConfigMan's been the biggest driving factor in my career. Once I got involved with it and started with it, I decided I couldn't go back from doing it.
I use Config Manager to really accelerate my career. I started off as a Config Manager admin. I was doing level 1 support, so I had very limited access to the Config Manager console to really be able to do anything that you think was really cool or really shiny in Config Manager. But I stayed up every night and studied and really worked hard to prove myself. I built a lab at home, so then I started looking for new jobs, and when I'd go to interviews and they'd ask for the the technical part of it, I was really able to blow people away with the knowledge that I had. You kind of gain momentum. The more things you learn about it, the more you can do that you didn't know that you could do. You make a career out of it.
Config Manager to me has been really like something that's been close to my heart. I deeply appreciate the product because it gives you a foundation to build and basically extend the product in any way you want.
It's built my career. I've gone from delivering computers, and now I'm a solution architect on a almost global level for my company.
Config Manager is the only place you live and work in. It's the only place you can deploy to thousands and thousands of machines.
I've raised 5 kids off Config Manager. I'll just put it to you like that. 2 of them graduated from college, all based on and centered around this one product, because it is just that applicable and really just its ability to adapt to any organization's needs.
It's grown into so many things. It's like a Swiss Army knife with little Swiss Army knives all inside of it. And I mean, it's crazy.
Config Manager is definitely like a Swiss Army knife. There's a lot of tools. Some of them, when you open them, you're not sure exactly what it's for. But once you learn what it's for, then you're like, oh, how did I live without that?
Config Manager brought me a husband. It was at the very first Ignite in Chicago. We'll just fast forward to now. We got married last Friday, so Ignite is actually our honeymoon. Never, ever in a million years thought when I first opened the Config Manager console for the first time how much a silly piece of software would change my entire life.
You know, the guys in the Config Manager team seem to really be thinking how we're using the product, which isn't always the case with everything you use. And so it just feels like they understand what we need to do and how to make it easier for us. And it's just been a fantastic experience.
It's been very challenging, and I have to be quite honest that I've never been bored for one day working with a product like Configuration Manager.
It's really transformed my career, my life, I mean, my family. You know, it really has. I talk to my wife about Config Manager. I talk to my kids about Config Manager. They have no idea what I'm talking about, but conceptually, they get it.
SCCM's gone from a tool where you knew there were developers somewhere in Redmond and you just had to find them, to now everyone's available online and Twitter, on the blogs. You know, it's probably one of the best teams I've worked with at Microsoft.
I love the Configuration Manager community. I try to get involved as much as I can in the TechNet forums and speaking at events and everything. And I think that's one of the really coolest thing about working with, being passionate with it, is that there's so many else that are passionate with it as well. So you actually find a lot of friends out there that you don't know you have.
Thank you to that incredible product team who put up with the likes of me for a lot of years.
Configuration Manager is the most important tool ever.
It's almost kind of like, your child. They go through high school and adolescence and they make mistakes, and sure, they're better than when they were a kid, they've got issues, they go through college or whatever, and you're just so proud of them that even though things aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, if you look at it objectively, you're just so in love and so proud of them.
I'm really curious to see where it goes next, especially with Current Branch. I kind of was a little nervous at first with the idea of upgrading 2 to 3 times a year, depending on where you stayed, if you stayed at N-1 or if you went current with it. But I think the product team's done a really good job with it, and I look forward to seeing what they continue to do next.
It's hard to keep up with all the new features because the product group are doing such a great job at coming up with all the new features that the community and the customer base are asking for, which is really good for in the Current Branch.
I think it's headed to the cloud.
I see Config Manager going to the cloud.
I have a feeling probably cloud. And some cloud.
I see the future of Config Manager in the hybrid way.
Then some more cloud.
We've already seen a couple different components start sneaking over there. We've got the Cloud DP, we've got Cloud Management Gateway. I think it won't be very long, especially with the announcement today with Intune and Config Manager connecting together. I don't think it's going to be long before we see that start to sneak out into the cloud, especially with all the benefits that Azure can offer with linking and bringing together things like Windows Defender into the Config Manager workspace and Intune for managing mobile platforms. I doubly so see that with the increase in the remote worker.
We will still need some things on-prem. I think we will have the need for Config Manager in a lot of years moving forward. But I also see that we can integrate it in so much more cloud-focused product, cloud-focused stuff.
I think within the next 2-3 years, telemetry will be something that is completely necessary to, like, for example, get scenarios like block at first sight.
We're going to be better at intuiting what people want through things like AI, and we're going to be better at recovering when things fail.
I think Config Manager is going to stay the tool of choice when you have an Active Directory environment and you have good access to your computers, or even when you don't have good access. It'll just be a great single point of authority to manage all the machines in the environment easily, with focusing on devices or focusing on users.
In combination with Intune, in combination with Autopilot, it is the right product to bring the service directly to the client or to the user.
And there is the Configuration Manager on-prem side and the cloud side. They're both going to, as far as I'm concerned, ConfigMan and Intune are going to merge into one product. They'll probably call it Intune, much to the chagrin of a lot of people, but it makes the most sense that it will do that.
The future is going to be with traditional management combined with modern management. So until everything is moved to modern management, Config Manager is going to make a huge play in the area.
Oh, yeah, the big changes are coming with user voice, so the people can ask some questions about implement that, and the product room is really listening to them and implement it. So since the Current Branch for Config Manager is online, there are so many new features, so every 4 months you get new features. It's just great. I love that kind of fast implementation of stuff.
I love Config Manager. I love the direction it's going. I love what it does. And I can't wait to see the future of it. It's done tremendous stuff for my career.
It's been a long haul, and it's been a great career. It's been an amazing career. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Config Manager is the best tool available, and there's nothing that can replace it right now, or I believe in the future.
Happy birthday, Config Manager, and we're looking forward to another 25 years. I doubt that I'll live to see it, but I'm sure the product will still be around in some form. Maybe I'll even be out in the cloud with it.
SCCM forever!